In the far reaches of the galaxy, Earth was just a small, quiet planet, barely noticed by the great civilizations that ruled the stars. But on this tiny world, humans had created something incredible. A machine, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was called a prototype, a massive structure of metal and light, designed to explore the stars, defend the planet, and perhaps, one day, stand against threats that no one yet understood. When the humans first unveiled the prototype, the galaxy did not cheer. Instead, alien civilizations laughed, mocking Earth for even trying. They are small, weak, and their machines are primitive, they said. Even the brightest minds in the universe shook their heads, convinced that Earth's creation was nothing more than a failure, a joke. The humans watched in silence as reports of ridicule traveled faster than light. But inside their labs and workshops, they did not despair. A small group of engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked tirelessly, adjusting wires, recalibrating circuits, and whispering words of encouragement to the sleeping machine. They believed in their creation, even when the universe did not. The prototype was massive, standing taller than the tallest building on Earth. Its surface shimmered with energy, wires and metal plates connected in ways no alien could understand. It had a strange hum, almost like a heartbeat, a rhythm that suggested it was alive in some way. But the galaxy saw only a heap of metal, waiting to be dismantled. One day, as humans ran the final tests, something unusual happened. A spark, small and faint, flickered across the prototype's core. The hum grew louder, resonating through the lab. The scientists stepped back, eyes wide with wonder and fear. "Did you see that?" one whispered. The spark seemed to dance across the surface, as if the machine itself was waking up, aware that the galaxy had doubted it. Outside, the stars were silent, indifferent, but inside Earth's labs, hope began to grow. Humans began to whisper about possibilities, about what the prototype could do if given the chance. Could it travel faster than light? Could it fight creatures that the galaxy considered unstoppable? Could it finally show the universe that Earth was not to be ignored? Yet, even as excitement grew, fear lingered. What if the galaxy was right? What if the machine failed? What if all of humanity's hope rested on something that could not succeed? The engineers worked harder, pushing past exhaustion, refusing to let doubt take hold. Then, one night, when the moon shone brightly over Earth, the prototype activated fully for the first time. Lights flared along its metal frame, and energy rippled outward in waves. It moved slightly, its joints creaking as if waking from a long sleep. The scientists and engineers gasped in awe, some falling to their knees, overwhelmed by what they had helped create. For a moment, the universe's mockery seemed distant, almost irrelevant. But far away, hidden in the void between galaxies, sensors picked up the faint pulse of energy. Alien civilizations noticed, their laughter fading into curiosity and unease. Something small and insignificant on a tiny blue planet was stirring, and no one could predict what would happen next. The prototype had been mocked, left to the shadows, considered a failure. But in the hands of humanity, it held a spark of something greater. A promise that Earth, though small, would not stay quiet forever. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, eyes that had once laughed began to pay attention. The first chapter of a story that would change everything had begun. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The galaxy had laughed at Earth's creation, calling the prototype a weak, useless machine. But the humans did not laugh with it. Instead, they watched the stars with a mixture of fear and determination. For the galaxy was not just mocking, they were dangerous, unpredictable, and powerful. And soon, Earth would face threats no one had imagined. Reports arrived of strange movements near the edge of the solar system. Ships of unknown origin, massive and silent, drifting through space as if hunting something. The prototype had sparked curiosity among the stars, and not all attention was friendly. Scientists and leaders on Earth debated endlessly, trying to understand the alien intentions. The galaxy did not care about human explanations. Humans had to act before it was too late. Meanwhile, the prototype stood in its massive hangar, humming softly. Its sensors scanned the skies, its lights flickering with readiness. Though still young and untested, it seemed to sense the approaching danger. And the humans who built it began to realize something they had always hoped. The prototype was not just a machine, It was a guardian. A team of pilots, engineers, and soldiers gathered around the prototype. They studied its controls, tested its systems, and prepared for the mission no one else would dare. "This is our only chance," one of the engineers said. "If we fail, the galaxy will never take us seriously. If we succeed, everything changes." There was no room for doubt, only action. As the alien ships approached, tension gripped Earth. Every eye in mission control and every sensor on the prototype was alert. People around the world watched the skies, wondering if their planet would survive the coming test. And the prototype, for the first time, activated a part of itself no one had seen before. A shield of glowing energy surrounded it, humming like the heartbeat of a living thing. The aliens watched from afar, curious and cautious. They had expected a weak planet with weak defenses. But now, they sensed something different, something alive and strong beneath Earth's metal and wires. Messages flew back and forth between alien fleets, and for the first time, hesitation appeared in their commands. Inside the hangar, humans prepared for launch. Engineers double-checked the systems, pilots reviewed the strategy, and soldiers secured the prototype's perimeter. They knew this was more than a battle. It was proof that humanity could stand against the galaxy's doubts. And the prototype, sensing the unity of its creators, pulsed with energy, ready to defend Earth. Suddenly, the alarms rang, red lights flashing across the room. The alien fleet had moved closer, their ships shining like stars against the black void. It was no longer just a test. It was a challenge, a threat, and a moment that could define humanity's place in the universe. The prototype's hum grew louder, echoing through the hangar, vibrating in every human heart. Together, humans and machine prepared for the first confrontation. And as Earth held its breath, the galaxy began to realize a truth it had ignored for too long. These humans were not weak, and their creation was not a joke. The prototype had been mocked, left for dead, but now it stood ready. And with the courage of humanity behind it, it could face whatever the galaxy sent next. The stage was set for a battle that would be remembered across the stars. And humanity, small and underestimated, would prove that even the weakest world could rise together. The first move had been made, and the prototype was no longer just a machine. It was the heart of Earth's fight for respect. The galaxy had been warned. The alien fleet hovered just beyond Earth's atmosphere, massive and silent. They expected fear, weakness, and failure. But the humans on the ground were ready, their hearts steady and their minds focused. The prototype stood in its hangar, its metal surface glowing faintly, like it knew the moment had come. The engineers gathered around the control panels, fingers trembling with both excitement and fear. "This is it," one whispered. "We either wake it now, or we lose everything." A pilot nodded, checking the targeting systems. Soldiers gripped their weapons, ready to defend both the prototype and their planet. With a hum that vibrated through the hangar, the prototype's core flared to life. Lights ran across its frame like lightning, illuminating the room in shifting patterns. The machine moved slightly on its massive legs, testing its strength. And then, it spoke, not in words, but in energy pulses that resonated in every human heart. A feeling of purpose, power, and awareness filled the room. The humans gasped, some falling back in awe. The prototype was no longer just a machine. It was alive in some way, aware of its creators and the threat above. It extended massive arms into the sky, energy crackling along its metal frame. The shields flickered outward, forming a dome of light that surrounded Earth's atmosphere. The alien fleet slowed, uncertainty rippling through their ranks. They had never seen technology like this, and the humans themselves seemed small, fragile, but somehow unstoppable. The first attack came unexpectedly. A wave of alien drones shot toward Earth, fast and deadly. The prototype moved with surprising speed, its shields absorbing the hits. Energy beams fired from its core, scattering the drones like leaves in a storm. Humans watched in disbelief, unable to hide their amazement. Their machine, once mocked as useless, was now the planet's greatest defender. But the prototype was learning, adapting with every moment. Its movements became faster, more precise, almost intelligent. The engineers realized something incredible. The machine was not just following commands, it was thinking, reacting, understanding the battle on its own. "Is it alive?" one of them asked in a shaky voice. Another nodded, eyes wide. "Yes, it is more than we imagined." The aliens, sensing the prototype's awakening, began to change their tactics. They sent larger ships, trying to overwhelm Earth's defenses. But each attack was met with swift resistance. The prototype moved with power and grace, defending the planet, protecting its creators. And with every action, humanity's pride and courage grew. For the first time, they realized, the galaxy had underestimated them, and their time to rise had come. Night fell over Earth, and yet the battle continued. The stars above seemed brighter, charged with energy from the ongoing clash. Humans worked tirelessly, coordinating with the prototype, giving it commands, learning its rhythms. The machine pulsed with life, and in those pulses, the humans felt hope, strength, and unity. Together, human and machine were no longer weak. Together, they were unstoppable. And far across the void, alien commanders watched, eyes wide in disbelief. The so-called failure of Earth had become a force beyond comprehension. The prototype had awakened. And humanity, united and determined, was ready to prove that no one in the galaxy should underestimate them ever again. The first strike was over, but the war for respect, for survival, and for the right to be noticed had only begun. And the galaxy, for the first time, truly feared what a united humanity could achieve. The battle above Earth had begun, but humanity knew this was only the start. The prototype had shown its power, but the aliens were still a threat. They were larger, more experienced, and had never faced a world so determined to fight back. Across Earth, people of all nations watched the skies. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, and ordinary citizens felt the tension. But instead of fear, a strange determination took hold. For the first time, humanity understood that their strength was not in their weapons alone, but in their unity. The leaders of Earth communicated quickly, giving orders and coordinating efforts. The prototype became the central force, moving to protect key locations. Humans guided it, shared their knowledge, and adapted to its speed and intelligence. It was no longer just a machine, it had become a partner. Together, humans and the prototype acted as one. Their synchronization was almost perfect, a combination of instinct, courage, and trust. In space, the aliens hesitated, confused by the unexpected strategy. They had expected Earth to crumble under pressure. But instead, they faced humans acting as a single, unstoppable force. Ships that once seemed invincible now struggled against the prototype's defenses. Small human craft coordinated attacks, distracting and outsmarting the alien fleet. Even planets that had ignored Earth began to notice the strange display. A small world, once laughed at, was showing signs of greatness. Inside the prototype's control core, humans worked in shifts, their voices calm but urgent. They guided the machine, repaired minor damages, and monitored energy surges. Each moment of cooperation made the prototype stronger. It learned from their teamwork, adapting faster than anyone had imagined. And the humans realized that the galaxy had misunderstood them all along. It wasn't the size or strength of their weapons that mattered. It was their unity, their courage, and their refusal to give up. As hours passed, the alien fleet began to fall back. Their formations weakened, their confidence shaken. They had expected Earth to surrender. But humans stood together, and the prototype had proven its might. Messages passed between alien commanders, whispers of surprise and concern. Some even feared what humanity might do next. Back on Earth, the people watched the prototype in awe. The massive machine moved with elegance and strength, shielding cities, intercepting attacks, and adapting to every challenge. It had awakened fully, and now, in cooperation with humanity, it was unstoppable. Citizens cheered, soldiers fought with renewed courage, and engineers worked tirelessly to keep the prototype at peak performance. For the first time, the galaxy could see the true potential of a united humanity. And yet, the prototype did not act alone. It was the humans, their decisions, bravery, and teamwork, that had turned a mocked machine into a symbol of power and hope. In that moment, Earth stood tall, not as a small, insignificant planet, but as a world capable of greatness. The galaxy had underestimated humans. But now, humans had shown that when they stand together, they could challenge anyone, anywhere, at any time. As the alien ships slowly retreated, a quiet pride settled over the planet. The prototype pulsed with energy, almost as if it too felt the humans' determination. Earth was no longer just a place to be ignored. It had risen, united, and the first real victories had been won. But the galaxy was vast, full of powerful civilizations and unknown dangers. And humanity, together with the prototype, knew that bigger challenges were yet to come. This victory was only the beginning. And the stars above had finally learned to watch Earth closely. The alien fleet had retreated, but their surprise was only the beginning. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long. And now, Earth was about to show the stars what it truly meant to stand together. The prototype stood at the center of Earth's defenses, its massive form glowing with energy. Humans worked tirelessly around it, coordinating attacks, maintaining systems, and watching the skies. Every city, every ship, every soldier became part of a single purpose: to protect their home and prove their worth. The once mocked machine was no longer just metal. It was the symbol of human courage, determination, and unity. Far across the galaxy, observers watched in disbelief. Alien leaders whispered among themselves, stunned that such a small planet could fight back so fiercely. Their fleets had never encountered this kind of strategy, this kind of resilience. Earth was no longer a joke, it was a force that demanded respect. The next wave of the alien assault arrived, larger and more threatening than before. Massive ships filled the void, weapons glowing with deadly energy. But the prototype moved with precision, shields rippling like a living organism. Energy beams struck the enemy with calculated force, scattering drones and disabling massive warships. Humans guided it, directing its power with confidence and trust. The galaxy had never seen such cooperation, and it was breathtaking. The battle raged across space, but Earth never wavered. Every move of the prototype was amplified by human courage, every decision supported by teamwork. The aliens realized too late that strength alone did not win wars, unity and determination did. Small human craft darted between enemy ships, confusing them, outsmarting them. Engineers repaired damages mid-battle, soldiers adapted strategies on the fly. And the prototype, sensing their resolve, grew stronger with each passing moment. Finally, the alien commanders called off their fleet, unable to overcome Earth's defenses. They retreated, confused and humbled, their arrogance shattered. Earth had stood together, small and underestimated, and had forced the galaxy to take notice. The humans cheered, their voices echoing across continents. The prototype pulsed with energy, almost as if it shared their pride. For the first time in history, humanity had proven that they were not weak. Not a joke, not a primitive species. Even the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging Earth's victory. Leaders of alien civilizations sent messages of respect, some of fear. The once mocked prototype had become a legend, and humanity had written its name across the galaxy. But even in victory, humans remained humble, knowing that the universe was vast and full of challenges. The prototype had awakened, and Earth had shown its strength. But there were more stars to explore, more threats to face, and more opportunities to prove that when humans stand together, nothing can break them. The galaxy had laughed at Earth once. They had left its creation for dead. But now, the stars had learned a lesson they would never forget. Humanity, united and fearless, could rise from mockery to legend. And the prototype, once scorned, had become the symbol of that unstoppable spirit. The sky above Earth was calm for now. But everyone knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would never forget the day humanity stood together. And for the first time, the stars knew that Earth had arrived.